What's up, life designers? Welcome to Intentional Tuesdays. We've got a fun topic, I think, for you this week. We are going to be talking about your superpower. Now, I talk to clients a lot, both in business and in their personal lives, and I find that a lot of people struggle to name their superpower. And I think part of this comes down to a sense of humility. When we think of a superpower, we think of a superhero. And most people just don't feel that way in their daily lives. So the idea of naming their own superpower really feels like a foreign concept. I think we're missing out on a really important opportunity in terms of our own growth and development. I think naming your superpower, in other words, naming your unique gift, your unique offering to the world, I think is a really powerful shift. And I think if you spend a little bit of time exploring and naming and ultimately claiming your superpower, you will find that it opens up a lot of really exciting doors for you in your life. So if this sounds interesting, then stick with us because we are going to jump right in. So the first question is really about why is it important to name your superpower? I think in order to really appreciate this question, you have to shift it from the superpower, which is just a shorthand phrase that I like to use, to thinking about it as your unique gift, your unique offering to the world. And this can be at work, or this can be in your personal relationships, your personal life, in your community, whatever organization or system you are part of. You are making some kind of a unique contribution. And if you don't feel that you are, I can pretty much guarantee that you're not going to be fully satisfied. You're never going to be completely happy if you don't recognize and appreciate that you are making some kind of a unique contribution. So that really is the first piece of this equation, that naming your superpower really is a key to ultimate happiness. So at the Life Design Center, I often find myself talking to people about the idea of purpose and the idea of having a life purpose or a personal purpose. I tend to steer people clear of this specific conversation. And I do that not because I don't believe in purpose, but I tend to have a little bit of a different view. I find that most people think of purpose as being a lifelong type of a thing, and it really endures the test of time. And that creates a lot of pressure to name your purpose. If you have to name this purpose that is going to be spanning your entire life, that's a lot of pressure. What if I get it wrong? And I feel like the idea of that pressure really inhibits people from identifying their purpose. So I like to take a slightly different approach. And that is where superpower can come in. Because your superpower, your unique gift, the question then becomes, how often am I getting to use my superpower for good? And if the answer to that question is, I get to use my superpower for good all the time, every day, then essentially you are living a life of purpose. And if you say to yourself, well, I don't get to use my superpower very often, it's a rare occasion that I get to really show my unique gift, then I would say you are probably not living a life of purpose. So for me, I much prefer to think of the idea of your superpower, and then your purpose just becomes a spectrum of how often are you getting to use your superpower. So I really feel like the idea of superpower opens up the discussion of life purpose in a way that's a lot more flexible, and more people have the ability to kind of connect with and resonate with that idea of having a life purpose. Now, another benefit in naming and claiming your superpower is that once you've identified it and once you know what your unique contribution is, you will be infinitely more able to find opportunities to apply it. you'll start to see opportunities in your life where your superpower will be beneficial, and you'll be able to go after those opportunities. You'll also have the opportunity to really practice your superpower and really cultivate it and really notice when it works well, and maybe when it's not quite as applicable. And in doing this, you're ultimately going to increase the potency and the capabilities of your superpower. So by naming it and claiming it, you open up all of these doors where if you never really put your finger on exactly what your superpower is, then the opportunities to use your superpower are really going to be coincidental. So that's why I think it's a really good thing to spend some time identifying what is my unique gift, what are my unique superpowers, and then you'll be much more able to find ways to use them for the benefit of yourself as well as those people around you. So ultimately, I think your superpower is a barometer for your overall life and your overall happiness. Now that may sound like a grand claim, but bear with me here. If you imagine that, or even if you're experiencing this, where you don't feel like you have a superpower, you don't have a unique gift, or you have one, but you're not getting to use it very often, I can pretty much guarantee you that you are not going to feel an overall sense of happiness, an overall sense of satisfaction. You are not going to feel like you're making a contribution or having the significance in the lives of the people around you that you really want to have. And that's because, we are wired to ultimately be impactful and ultimately have significance. And if you don't feel like your unique talents are being exercised and recognized, then there's always going to be this kind of level of dissatisfaction that is going to exist. You are going to feel like you are just going through the motions and getting through the day, but never really having the massive or the full impact that you could have or should have. So that's why I think that noticing, naming, and claiming your superpower is a really worthwhile effort. So now if you have not spent any time thinking about and exploring your superpower, I definitely recommend that you do that. In the write-up down below the blog post, I go into a little bit of detail about how you can go about discovering and really kind of zeroing in, fine-tuning exactly what your superpower is. And I think if you spend a little bit of time doing that, you will be pleasantly surprised, and you'll be amazed at what this opens up for you in your daily life. So with that, I hope you have enjoyed this week's Intentional Tuesday. As always, I appreciate your time and your attention. And until our paths cross again, I wish you all the best and a prosperous journey. Take care.